What's going on, everybody? I wanted to talk to you about the leak. So, if you are following my spoiler videos, you know I don't normally make them. However, the leak of a bunch of mythics and the expeditions in Oath of the Gatewatch made it easy for me. I don't. I've never been a fan of doing like a video over a single card, but it just was easy because someone leaked the cards. I'm not totally sure, but I think there may still be one mythic unspoiled. It seems weird that they would hold one back, given they spoiled all the expeditions and everything like that. But I thought today, which is December 16th, Trick Jarrett from Wizards put out an article today that spurred a lot of conversation. A lot of people in the community, as well as him and I, going back and forth for about an hour on Twitter, which I'm going to get to later. Nothing bad. Much love and respect to Trick and what he does and his team. So initially, when he put out the article, there was some interesting back and forth going on Twitter. And I think, first of all, if you represent a big company, in general, you probably shouldn't ask people to feel bad for you. It's just going to end very poorly. I'm not saying that's what this article set out to do. It may have been like unintentional, but it read as though, to me, it read as like a feel bad for us because these cards got spoiled and all of our hard work is now negated, which I don't discredit. Certainly the spoiling of these cards ruins a lot of what they have already planned for the rollout of these new cards. Definitely, I think when they reprinted the fetch lands, for example, and I think they released that at PAX, that was a great moment, and the internet was set on fire, and people were excited. When they unveiled the expeditions, the same, I think, fervor was there for everyone hearing about them. This is definitely the largest leak since New Phyrexia, when a God book was leaked, and people seem to be on different sides of it. Most people just, kind of feel bad for Wizards. I think there is a section of people that are saying that, it ruined spoiler season for them. I don't buy that. The expeditions and mythics were spoiled, but there's a whole bunch of rares, and there's still uncommons, and there's still commons. So I think that's being a little sensationalist. But there were some interesting tweets. One of them, going back and forth. One guy tweeted, "No one I know trusts you to make a good set anymore anyway. Leaks show us the junk you hide behind expeditions and marketing." I think there's some truth there. Our buddy old pal Scrumpo said something along the lines of, "I'm sorry, someone ruined your carefully orchestrated PR circle jerk. Now go cry on your billions of dollars." Now, that's classic Scrumpo, but there is a grain of truth to what he says. I am personally not a huge fan of the drip marketing, spoiler a day for 2 months or 2 weeks. I mean, it's not my thing. In fact, I would rather not know a single card in the set at all until I open the packs. That's, to me, that's more interesting. Even Mark Rosewater chimed in and said, we're trying to shame those who leak, not the community. I thought that was interesting too, because I'm not a part of this like PC principle world where I'm going to say like, oh, Mark Rosewater's trying to shame somebody. This is a big deal. It's not. I think what you're seeing here is the Wizards team is emotional about it. And that's essentially what I told what I said to Trick too. I said, in my opinion, there's really having cards spoiled is not a big deal to me. All due respect to Wedge and all the hard work he does with his spoiler videos. I feel like the leak itself is going to give way to better content because we're going to have more time to think about the cards and people can put out better articles and better evaluations rather than desperately trying to be the first one to cover something. But that's just me. I mean, I think the leak in of itself is creating new content. It's creating this content that I'm recording right now. There's a couple of things I took exception to in Trick's article, which I thought otherwise was fine. But that's mostly because I'm keenly aware of the hurt feelings right now, and I'm not going to go after the guy for being emotional. I mean, we all get that way. But he mentions leaks often lead to bad first impressions. Not always, but it's unrealistic and would be unhealthy for the game for every card to be designed in such a way that it would be 100% exciting when viewed out of context on its own. That would force power creep in design to levels that will surely ruin the game. How are these two things related? I mean, 15 cards got leaked from an upcoming set. Unless he means, they need to control us and our opinions of cards by releasing like a well-planned arc of cards where it fools us into thinking cards are good when they're really not. Is that, I mean, I don't know if that's what he's saying, but that's what the subtext is to me. I think the cards stand on their own, whether or not they were spoiled. I mean, a card is either good or it isn't good. The order in which they're spoiled or cards I saw yesterday or the day before is totally irrelevant. Now, that's for me. Maybe it is to you, but come on. Then you should just know better. And he also writes, as a person who used to run a fan site that would occasionally leak something, I know the lure for content creators. Leaks draw traffic and they give you something new to talk about. But let's get one thing straight. Leaks aren't journalism. Publishing leaks is purely self-serving, looking out for the good of yourself and your ego. This is like some hot venom, right? This whole paragraph is meant for the one person that leaked a card. I totally disagree that ego is the only reason to leak a card. I mean, if I knew somebody that worked in printing and I offered them $1,000 to take pictures of cards, but that's a pretty good reason to take pictures and leak them. I mean, maybe you don't like the company and you want to wreck something for them. There's another reason. I mean, there's any number of reasons to spoil these cards. And I think the assertion that people are essentially making money or trying to say they're journalists, I don't know if this is internal communications between them and the people that actually leaked the cards, but as far as I know, it's not like they were leaked on a website full of ads. They were like put out on Imager or Twitter or something. So, I mean, the person that leaked these wasn't making any money from it. And, I just, and unless they told Wizards that it was some sort of journalism, I don't know where that line even came from. Another thing he mentions is leaks create an unfair advantage because they do not go out over official channels, they are not as widely distributed to less enfranchised players, thus creating an unfair advantage for some players. That is a stretch and a half. Wizards officially leaks cards mostly on internet platforms. Even if they do it at a convention, the vast majority of us find out about it through social media. Because they weren't the official one to spoil it doesn't make it any less accessible on social media in any way. I mean, I consume it the same way if Wizards tweets it or if somebody else tweets it. That doesn't support the argument. And I guess my point here is it's a long article, and I suggest you read it. But it's basically like this hurt our feelings, but also all these other reasons why it's not good. But I don't buy any of the other reasons. And I'll get to my point here in a second, because I don't want to appear like totally insensitive. He also writes, would you go on your friend's Facebook page and announce a pregnancy if you found a positive pregnancy test in their bathroom? No, that would make you a terrible human being, because it's not your news to give. And when the world gets to know, it is up to that person and their significant other. I don't disagree with that statement, but that is like, leaking Magic cards and telling, and posting that somebody's pregnant. Those that is not the same thing anywhere near. I guess for sensationalism, you could say at the very root, you're sharing information that isn't yours to share, and I think that's the point he's making here. But he's using something like a gross intrusion on someone's medical history and health, and sharing it with their friends and family is the same thing as pictures of Magic cards, which it isn't. It might feel that way for Wizards employees, and I certainly would empathize with them and understand that to be the case. But, to me, it doesn't really change the game at all to me. And so after reading the article, I exchanged a couple of tweets, maybe 20 or so, with Trick. And I don't know the guy personally. Seems like a fine guy to me. People really like him. I'm not trying to call him out, because I'm assuming the article he wrote was viewed by other people, and other people at Wizards probably share their opinion. But after some back and forth, it starts out all about feelings or how this hurts creators or this or that. And after I kept probing, basically it came down to if you read in between the lines, and maybe I'm just being crazy here, but he essentially says leaks hurt sales, right? At one point in the conversation, actually I want to open the actual conversation. And I'm just realizing I forgot to go to Wednesday Night Draft, which is the first time in a long time. But he basically says, and you can read the tweet, I can't convince you that leaks do damage without revealing stuff we aren't willing to do. You can either believe me or not. And he has every right to say that. He's got no reason to answer to me at all. He was doing me a favor by conversating with me, I'm sure. But what I think he's implying there is that leaks hurt sales. Otherwise, who cares, right? There's still tons of cards to be spoiled. There's tons of hype. It all started off really with my tweet saying, look, I know this sucks. However, the wildfire that's going on right now with people discussing this leak is great for the game. There's no bad press. They should view this as an opportunity. My takeaway was, hey, look, if you're a content creator and you're whining about your spoilers getting spoiled, then you could be considered pretty lazy if you rely solely on like Wizards giving you a spoiler for your website. And I'm not talking about people that cover all spoilers. I'm saying their point was, boy, man, imagine if you would have got a spoiler and then it got spoiled or leaked. And my point was, how does that really affect me other than hurt feelings? You just create the same content. You release your spoiler, or you release a video talking about how you were affected by the leak, or whatever you want to do. Content creators can still create content. People are still going to buy the set. Now, if if Wizards' sole point is that it hurts sales, then they should have gone with that, I guess is my point. Not to talk about play up the feel bads and the emotional stuff. And I know making this video is not a good idea because Wizards has a history of having some good old boy stuff. And, you know, this will obviously put me on the outside of that, but I'm really not judging them. I'm just sharing my opinion, and I want to know what you guys think of the leaks. I'm not trying to call out Trick or his article per se, but these are, I mean, this is what's coming from the mothership. They have never addressed leaks before. Now all of a sudden they're addressing this leak because it was quote unquote so large, but it really wasn't. I mean, that was 30 cards. I mean, I guess it's not nothing, but it's not like the entire set was spoiled 6 months in advance. It wrecks some of their reveals, but I still think there's time to change them and reveal in a different manner or find other ways to hype it up. I think you have to stay ahead of the game, and leaks are always going to happen. And to assume that they weren't prepared for this, I mean, I don't believe that. I fully assume that they have a backup plan and that they will do what's right for them. And hopefully that's what's right for us. And, you know, I agree with a lot of points in the article, like the big reveal for Kozilek on the stream was just kind of boring because everyone already knew about it. But then again, if that goes against their point, right? So they said, well, if Wizards doesn't release it, then people don't know. Well, then if that were true, then why was the reveal on stream boring? If those are all people that wouldn't know unless Wizards told them, then it's still the same reaction, right? I don't really care about the leak. I think it's their property. Legally, it's their property. They have every right to be pissed off about it and every right to sue whoever they want to sue. And I completely back that. If somebody who had signed an NDA with them, a printer or something like that, took these pictures and leaked them, he should be prosecuted. I don't disagree with that at all. But my main point is that the leak is not, the sky isn't falling. The leak is not that big of a deal, in my opinion. And people that say it is are just overreacting. I mean, it's a few cards in an upcoming set. The cards stand on their own. I think there's a lot of reason to be excited. A $500 Wasteland Expedition's pretty nice. The new Planeswalkers are pretty nice. I mean, there's lots of reasons to be excited about Oath of the Gatewatch. I'll still be going to pre-release. I'll still be going to multiple pre-releases. And nothing really changes for me. What I'm curious about is how it changes things for you. Honestly, think about it for a minute or two and then let me know in the comment section down below. Maybe I'm just being an ignorant a-hole, and that's entirely possible. Entirely possible. But I am curious to hear what your responses to your rational responses to the leak in the comment section down below. Actually, if they're irrational too, I want to hear that too. But I look forward to chatting with you down there about it and what your thoughts are. And we'll talk to you again real soon. What's up, and thanks for watching this video. I produce all different kinds of content, so if you haven't yet, click on my face to subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, I've got some sweet playlists, including this one, where I open up every fat pack ever created. I've also got this one over here where I open just about anything vintage and old and expensive for your enjoyment. And all this is made possible by the awesome backers at our Patreon, which is linked in the description of every video. Hop on over there, check it out, see if it's something you might want to consider. If not, sit back, enjoy, and I'll still love you.